Right. So in this section, uh, so in this section, I'm going to discuss about the new layout property called Flux. Okay, you can. I'm going to create a new Flux property, flux.html, and flux.css. Okay, so we have seen some layout properties in CSS. Okay, first one. We have seen float property. We have seen what do we call position property, right? And one of the important, let me address some problems that we can face by using our existed layout properties and other properties of CSS. The main problem in CSS are CSS styling. The one of the biggest problem in CSS is vertical centering of an HTML element. Okay, vertical centering of an HTML element, and okay, box width calculations, box width or height calculations every time. Of course, that can be solved by using box sizing property as well. Okay, and third one is this is one of the important and very difficult thing that we are not able to do. There is no direct property to make an element to the center of the page or center of a particular box. Okay, text text centering is there, but other than text, we are not able to center an element. Okay, next, overflow, content overflow. Sometimes the content is going to be overflow. Okay, and parent collapsing with the float property. Okay, these are the main important properties that you can see with our existing CSS properties, layout properties of CSS. Okay, we have seen when we use float, parent will be collapsed. Okay, then we have to use either overflow hidden or clear fix property. If the content is more than the box width, there is no automatic adjustment of the content. So because of that, the content may overflow. Okay, and every time we need to calculate the sizes of the box like width and height. Okay, and vertical centering of HTML element is very important as well. These are the four important addressable properties in our CSS that can be solved easily by using new flux property. Of course, flux is a mix of properties. Okay, so what we can do, flux means this property will create flexible items inside a flux container. See, when we have a box, inside that box we have some other elements are there. Okay, all those are elements are going to be treated as a flexible items. Flexible items in the sense the size of those elements can be increased or decreased by adjusting the elements can be automatically increased or decreased, increased or decreased by adjusting the size, adjusting the space around the element, or adjusting the available space, I can say. Container. I can drink this one. I can write flexible items. So this will be how these are going to be flexible items. It's going to make use of the space around the element or the space available inside the container. Okay, by using those space, it's going to adjust the item size. Okay, in terms of width and height. So what I'm going to do, I just want to take a div element with the parent class. This is parent, and div element with a child class. Let's take a child class. Okay, likewise, I'm going to create n elements instead of it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 8, 9. 9 elements I have taken. Let me add some styles to those things. Child, which is having a width of 100 pixels, height of 100 pixels. Okay. Here I'm giving a fixed width here. Okay. I'm providing a fixed width, and I'm going to add some border. 0, 0, 0. Okay. Width, height, border. That is fine for the time being. And for the parent as well, I'm going to create, I'm not adding any kind of size. Instead, I'm just adding border 1 pixel, solid, hash 0, 0, 0. And come back to this, right click on it, open in the browser. Now see, this is a normally position elements. Here I haven't applied any flex property. By default in HTML, all the elements are going to be arranged in a vertical order like this. This is the parent. These are the child elements. Each div is a block level element. That is why you will get some space here. Why? Because block level element will occupy entire width of the browser. That's fine. Now what I'm going to do, I just want to add some margin here for each and every element. Margin of 2 pixels around the element so that you can find some gap around the each and every box. That was nice. And let me list out these things with 2, 3, 4, 5, 8, 9. Okay. Now I want to arrange them in a horizontal manner. Generally, we use a float property to make them as a horizontal, but you can use a flux property. So let me take this one. See, I'm going to apply the flux property for the parent, not for the child. Okay. So display flux you can use for the page. See, whenever you provided a display flux by default, all element will be positioned in horizontal direction. Okay, if it has more number of elements, then it will go into wrap around. So for example, I'm going to increase more number of, I just added some more elements here. 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. See, there is no overflowing. Okay, 14 elements that are fixed are able to adjust instead of that. Now I just added three more 15, 16, 17, still it's going to be fixed inside the container. There is no overflow. Okay, that means, see, uh, it's trying to reduce the width of each and every element. Even though I have given 100 pixel width, okay, so it is calculating the content inside that particular what we can call box. Okay, according to that, it's going to adjust the width. So here the content is only this number, right? So still this box has some more space. So the flux property is going to make use of this space, and it's trying to reduce what do you call the size of the box without disturbing the content. What happens if I have some values like instead of this 1, 1, 2, 2, 3? I can see if content is more, it's not going to reduce. Okay, that is fine. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That was nice. 11, 12, 13. Now you can see here the box size, and I want to add some extra content here for the last thing. Mm, I'm just adding this. See, now you can find some overflow. It's unable to adjust the content. See, that's fine. Now it's going to overflow. It's if it doesn't find some space, okay, then it's automatically overflowed. This is the worst case in our flux property. But anyway, uh, see in this case 17, we effectively place the element right without disturbing the element. I mean the number of elements here. I'm going to add some more elements. Let us see how it's going to be. Still, it is able to fix it inside that particular container. Almost, I just added around 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. Okay, let me add 24, 25, 26, 27. See, still, but finally, the last element is came out. Okay, so it's automatically adjusting the width and height of each and every element, and is going to place all the content inside that particular container. Okay, that is the advantage of flux property. And one second, I'll come back. Flux is trying to adjust all the elements inside that particular parent container only. Okay, by adjusting the individual element size, width, and height as well. Okay, now I just want to take out all this stuff. I just placed 3 items here. So when we use a display flux, all the elements are going to be flexible items. Now I'm going to use a flux direction property. Okay, so if you use row, then it will be by default it will be row. You can use row reverse. Now you can see all the elements are started from right side to left side. That is called row reverse. Similarly, you can make use of column reverse, column column reverse. See, 1, 2, 3. In the previous case, 1, 2, 3. Okay, so that is a flux direction, and flux wrap. Okay, so if the number of elements increases, okay, so here what I did in the previous case, mm, I just want to fix the width of the parent for the time being. Width to be 300 pixels. 300 pixels, and I'm going to change this to row. Okay, 300 pixels. That is fine. I'm going to add one more element now. Okay, that is fine. Still, it finds some space. Uh, One box, two box, three box, four box. Oh, that is fine. It's coming. The content width of the child is coming down. I need to use something like it's not adjusting. This. I'll talk about this one for the time being. Okay. I just created a small box. Mm, I want to add some more content inside of it. Lorem ipsum. I'm going to take this one. I just added some content. That is fine. Now it's coming out of this element, right? Parent element. Now what I'm going to do, I just use a property called flux wrap. Now you can see it's wrapping, and I want to change this to be row instead of row reverse. I want row. See, 1, 2, 3, 4. It's coming like this, wrapping. If you don't provide this, that will make the flux container to overflow. Okay, so wrapping is going to adjust the elements by what we call by adjusting the elements after the first line, and is going to take a new line for the extra elements. That is what is called flux wrap. You have flux wrap. By default you have something called no wrap. This is no wrap. If you use wrap, that is wrapping. Wrap reverse is also there. Wrap reverse, you can identify this by 1, 2, 3, 4. See the positioning. This is wrapping a 1, 2, 3, 4. This is wrapping. Wrap reverse. If we use wrap, then 1, 2, 3, 4. Got it? So these are the main some of the basic properties of the flux. You can use as a shorthand notation. All these are longhand notation properties, and I can use a flux property by defining a row and wrap. Instead of writing two properties, just take it out. You can make use of this. This is also fine. Something wrong. One second, I need to go for this. Flux CSS strings. Yeah, now you can see uh, we have two sets of properties out there. One is the parent property, second one is child properties. We are talking about the parent properties like display, display flux, flux direction, okay, and flux wrap. This is called wrapping. Okay, flux flow. Okay, it's going to define a yeah. Instead of flux, we have to use flux flow. This is a shorthand notation. Instead of writing two separate properties, you can make use of this. See, it's working. That is what is called flux flow shorthand notation. Let's place it as it is. Along with this, you do have some other properties like justify content. The content is going to be justified. That means if this is a flux container, now here these are the child elements. This justify content property is automatically justify the internal elements. Okay, by defining flux start, flux end, center, space between, space around, space evenly. Flux start means all the elements will start from the starting of the box. Flux end means will all the elements will start from end. Flux center means all the elements will be placed at center. Flux space between in the sense it's going to provide some space in between each and every element. And by the way, you have to observe that the last element, that is the first and last element, doesn't find any space at the borders. That is space between. Space around means it will be